There's a helicopter, but I can't hear it. Okay, so let's start. What do I want to start with? I need to hit the stinger, and then I appear on screen, and I need to be here-ish. There we go. All right, so here we go. And there we are. Hi, this is Luke Coley. I wanted to show Vmix. It's some really killer live streaming software I've been learning for the past couple weeks. Anyway, I have some notes here, and I want to show you. I had to just set up the basics to get started to start recording this video. So I want to show you what I added. How the Vmix works is everything's an input as far as what you're manipulating and sending out to video. So all your video, your actual video playback, your cameras, your titles for lower thirds. In this case, I have an audio input. That's also an input. So everything's manipulated as an input, and those are all down. Oh, I'm facing the wrong direction. Let me flip that too. All right. So those are all in this lower left corner here. I'm going to switch to the desktop capture there, and let me black out that area. There we go. That just gets to be a mess because of the feedback loop. So here is the desktop, and down here in this corner has all my inputs. So what I'm going to do is open up my camera here, and I just right-clicked on that. So what I did originally was hit Add Input, and then I went Camera, then selected my input, went through all the settings that I needed as far as frame rate and resolution, and hit OK. In this case, OK, cancel, and it generates this. There it is. Now you can see there's audio here, but I have a major delay when I go through this port. So if I add it as a separate digital audio interface right here from the same interface, it is in time with it. I don't know why, but that's just the case. So I did the same thing here. I hit Add Input, and I went to Audio Input, Audio Device, and I selected the digital audio interface, which is the UB3300. I'm going to click Cancel instead of OK, and there it is. I'm going to right-click on that to make it narrow. That's nice. I also added this black box. This is just a black color. I hit Add Input. I'm going to click this little up arrow, and I hit Color. And so it's just a black bar for blacking out. I put that over here over the screen on the right, so you can see that it's just not a mess of stuff up there. So it looks like it's too busy, but there's really nothing going on. Anyway, so where was I? We have our black screen cover. We have my camera. I have my audio input. Here is the stinger I used to open this video. You can see it plays like that. I have that loaded into the stinger input, which is right here on the output. We're still looking at desktop capture, correct? Yes, we are. Great. So these are the buttons in the middle. These are all my transitions, and the stinger is one of the graphic that I can play over that. So that's all the inputs I have generated so far. And this is the coolest thing about Vmix is you can just add or close the amount of inputs you need, and it keeps a little bar going down here at the bottom to see how much overhead you have as far as your CPU and your graphics card. Super cool. So you can monitor the whole thing and be in command at all times. Now, to do some more interesting things, once you have the basic setup going, let's have, the one thing I wanted to do is change my camera to mirror my direction. So let's change the way I'm facing. I'll hit General and Mirror. That's so much better. So when I raise my right and when I look to the left of the screen, it looks like I'm looking at the box that I'm dealing with, which is down here in the corner. Great. So just verify that. That looks good. Okay, so what are we looking at? I flipped on camera input. Okay, let's add a title because I want to have my name on here before we start the show. So I add title, and I hit Add Input Title, and then I'll just pick one at random. This funky one looks fun. It doesn't, so I don't have to come up with a second title. I can just type my name. So let's type Luke Coley. There we go. I'll add that to my presets so I can switch between it. That's later if you have more people on here, but let's have a look at that. So here's the title, and I'll click Overlay 1, and it should overlay over the bottom of the video. That's great. So I will then click to my camera, which is loaded in the preview. So I'll cut to that. Here we are in full screen. Let's remove our overlay. There we go. And then we'll put down this one. So here would be the start. And there I have a nice lower third. Looks great. Cool. Let's go back to the desktop and black that out. There we go. So we have a title there. How cool. Now I can add, oh, I have the desktop capture already added. I'm just going by my notes here. And so here's kind of what I'm envisioning and what I've been using it for. This would be great even live because you can do camera switching and load your video playback and also PowerPoint presentation and stuff like that all from one computer, and you can wire everything with Cat5, and the latency is actually very good. It's close to real time. It's still slightly delayed, but not that noticeable. It's very, very quick, and I think on a machine stronger than mine, you would have no problems. My render times are well below the 30 seconds, so I'm not dropping anything. Everything's super smooth, and this computer is older. I mean, it's like a third generation i5, so nothing fancy, and it works fine. So that's what I envision for live. So even with the Vmix costs $350 for the license that I have, which is the HD version. They have a basic version, basic HD for $60 that lets you have 4 inputs, which I think is enough to do like a basic corporate show or something like that, because you would just do 2 cameras, an NDI input from another computer for PowerPoint. I'll show you how to do that in just a second, and your any other videos they have as interstitial stuff. And you can do that with 4 inputs and have it ready to go. Obviously, your audio would be handled outboard. This is for a non-internet situation. So let me go ahead and add an input to my show here. They call it presets in Vmix. I'm just calling it a show. So let's go to NDI. And I have it running on my other computer. So I should have display 1 on Lappy. And here it should come. There it is. And I have the Vmix website loaded so you can see. Let me put this up on screen. There's on the preview. I'll cut to it for full screen. So now you're seeing everything that I'm seeing. Let me remove the overlay. There we go. And you can go to vmix.com and then download. And this is where you get the actual software, but they also have this desktop capture software that turns your desktop into an NDI source for Vmix to pick up. So I'm just running this on the side on my Mac here. And, oh, I forgot to turn on tunes too. Let's go ahead and push that a little bit. There we go. Just fill in all that dead space while I'm blabbering. So here's the desktop capture. So I have that running so you can see the Mac. And this is just over my network. It's wirelessly connected on the Mac. And I'm actually watching the screen on my other computer, and I'm controlling it. It's pretty good latency. Looks good. I did have to send audio over the headphone out. The audio does not transfer over the NDI for some reason. I haven't really delved in that much. But picture, if you will, 2 camera inputs. Let's switch back to, here we are. Let's overlay there. Yuck. Put me over here. There we go. So you could have down here these 4 inputs. 1, 2, 3, 4 would be camera 1, camera 2, your PowerPoint coming from another computer, and the video playback, and you have everything you need for the show for a $60 license of this stuff. Now, if you wanted to step up, I bought this for a video mixing gig I had at the Granada Theater when I was doing that thing for about a year, and they wanted video behind them, and this is the software I bought, not knowing it did all these things, and so I've really been rediscovering it during this time. So let's get back to what I was saying. So after the live thing, this is also great for, it's built for live streaming. So I've been using it to do Zumba classes, or we had a martial arts class. There was, what else did we do? Oh, we had some musical performances. We built a little green screen studio in town here, me and a friend. And we also did a couple presentations. Everybody's been connecting over Zoom. So that's the nice thing in Vmix, is it has this nice little button down here at the bottom. Actually, let me make a few other things while I have it here, while we're looking at this screen. The nice thing is you can zoom in on certain portions to make it a little more clear as far as what people are doing. So on this desktop, This is the desktop I'm working on right now. We're going to hit the settings and hit create virtual input, and I'll hit that twice. And that'll just clone that input. Fine. And then what you can do is position this. It's going to be hard to see because it's causing a feedback loop. So it's just, you can see doing the Wayne's World thing. But let's zoom in towards the bottom here. There we go. Maybe around this area where all the inputs are, I can kind of see it. So let's just zoom that whole corner. Just assume right there. And that'll be fine. And I'll just worry about this later if I need to create another view. But so now if I click this and I hit merge, it'll do this nice little zoom. Let me get that overlay out of the way. There it is. And now you can see what I'm working on a lot clearer. And then we'll merge back out. And you can see the whole desktop. Super cool. So it has that nice little animation. And what I've been doing with that, let's put me back on screen. Hello, there we are. What I've been doing with that is if I have a band or a musical performance, especially if there's more than one person, we have a decent camera pointed at it. It's a Blackmagic Studio camera. And what I can do is then zoom in on portions of the set. But using a single fixed camera, the green screen also zooms with it. So the background moves with the person that's in front of the green screen. So it looks somewhat more realistic, at least not as cheesy when the green screen stays the same and you move. So you really want to avoid that because it really gives away the green screen. But when I can zoom in like that, that's really cool. Now, if I was to get a 4K camera and zoom in on certain portions, I could cover, you know, a full orchestra gig or something like that, or something else where I could point a 4K camera at a wide angle and just zoom in on portions. If I had one camera, maybe two, I can generate a ton of different shots to cut to and do that all with, you know, basically a laptop and 2 cameras. I mean, come on, that's amazing. So anyway, that's one of the cool things you can do with the green screen. But, you know, like I said, we've also been doing Zumba classes, so that's been kind of fun to jazz that up the same way as you can do short punch in, the zoom, all that kind of stuff, add titles. I like to have any kind of chat that goes on in Zoom. I throw that on screen to keep everybody that's in the class interacting and also paying attention to what the class is and not going off into the chat or something like that. Anyway, so let's talk about the green screen stuff. So let's go to my camera and I'll hit settings and color key. I did this earlier, so it's mostly set up, but I'll walk through the steps. I'm going to turn on the color key and then we'll hit the dropper and I'll pick a green area, and then you'll turn on this chroma key filter and then adjust to however you need it. There we go. That's it. That looks pretty good. And then when on black background, it mostly disappears. So then I can add a background for me. I've been using this other one, so I'm going to add a video, add input, video, and I find it here. It's Jacob Collier put out this video before he made the last video of his latest music video. Anyway, it's not the music I'm going to play, but it's the starry silhouette that I think looks great behind just anyone on a Zoom call or something like that. So what I need to do is I opened the video here, and then I'll hit multi-view. And the video itself is going to be the first layer, the main layer. And so overlay 1 will be my camera. Here I am. And so when I play the file, let's put this in the main screen. Here, I'll cut to that. And you'll see it'll play. Let me remove the overlay. And it looks great if you frame it just right. You got all these cool stars behind it. It looks like a cool effect coming off here, even though it's not. And it's just, I think it looks nice. That looks pretty good. Anyway, so there's my background. Great. I have a cool background to go with. I'm going to cut back to the desktop and put that over there. There we go. And I'm controlling all that with a Stream Deck that I'm running Companion. That's I turned it 90 degrees counterclockwise so that the bulk of it's in the left of my hand. So now I can just run it with my thumb, and I have a mouse in my right hand. And man, it's easy to get around this this whole UI very quickly. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so we talked about the external output. So you can turn on this external output. I'll go ahead and do that now. And we will go to open Zoom. And you can see here, if I go into the settings on Zoom, and I go video, there's the vMix video out. It's already in there. I didn't have to do anything at all. It just happened whenever I had it. And so let me close this. All right, I'm trying to look around the window. Let me turn off the external so you can see what that does when it's not there. It just gives color bars. But so that tells me, okay, great, my it's getting the video, but it's just not on in vMix, which is super cool because it's a quick way to cut your stream easily, and that's just a separate control from your stream control, from your record control, all that. So you can just turn this on and off to run Zoom. Super awesome. And then you just pump audio over that. I did have to download the virtual cables. That's detailed on vMix's website, so you can take a look at that. Let's see. So if you were just doing Zoom calls, you can do this as your basically as your webcam, and you're mixing video and audio all down the Zoom stream. And then I would put a return to a speaker in the room, and we have a mixer in the studio, so that I'm using the input that I'm sending to Zoom to dynamically control the output of Zoom. So when we're talking, it's not coming back at us, and that way it kind of keeps the echo down pretty significantly. But even then, you have to kind of ride it. And the other key, as mentioned in the Zoom video, was you have to turn off original sound to get it to sound good and get all the processing gone. But the processing benefits you if you're just talking over it. Like we have a couple microphones for people to talk right before the class would begin or something like that. And boy, that looks weird, trying to disappear. We'd have the microphones in the room, and it made it easier to talk when you turned on the processing. So I'd turn off original sound while they were speaking, and then would turn on original sound, turn it off. It's so confusing. To when I need to play music over that stream. Okay, so we've got our green screen, and I've got that set up, and I've got a basic layout for making either like a video, or if I want to do something live, or if I'm doing a stream. I did this for a presentation where I had a small PowerPoint on my laptop off to the side in front of me here, and then I can just focus on, presenting. This is where I'm staring into my camera now, obviously. And then I can have my laptop right down here, and I'm not really looking away. I can look on this screen to see what I'm sending out, all that kind of stuff. And it's a really clean setup. I really, really like it. And I had to tell people about it. So let's see. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about was virtual sets, which is super neat. I haven't really delved into it too much, but it's kind of a cool idea. So you go virtual set, and you have this like news set thing, and you can put yourself in it. Sure, fine. That's like a basic green screen idea. Sure, I'll put myself there. I'm a little off, so I'll need to zoom out, and I'm getting a little. You can see my little goofy green screen part there. So what I'll do is we'll clean up that input a little bit. It's settings, and you can see all this over here. I hope you're still seeing the desktop. Let's see. Yeah, you are. Okay. So all this garbage over here. So I want that to go away. So I'm going to go up to, where was it? Position. And on the main, I'm going to crop the X axis. Oh, that's the other side. Let's go over here. Oh, because I mirrored it. That's why it's backwards. All right. And then a little on this side. That looks great. So now I've got a clean image, and I can put myself here. Obviously, I'm not sized up right for this this news set, but let's see. Here it is. And then I go to the camera, and you have these shots, and I can set it for fast, medium, or slow, and I can zoom in. Hey, here's my impactful part, and then my super close-up when I need to say something more, and then I can pull out for the wide shot. Super cool to control. And then if this were to get more elaborate, you could make it just like any other type of set, or I can have at the green screen we have at the The studio area is full body. Like this is just a little pop-up one behind me. Um, but having a full body and then being able to drop it onto a well set and onto a set that looks about the same angle, and then with some lights on top to just kind of get the color right, it's damn good. It looks really really good for just you know a budget build studio. And the idea was just don't let if people don't want to understand the technology, they can still use it. Just they got to pay a technician. And that's this is just one other way if you're going to get into live streaming, which it's not going to go away. It's always going to be here, and people are going to want to do it all the time because this is going to be until concerts come back, and even then concerts and events and things like that are going to want to live stream for all the people that don't want to be there or can't be there. So this is I think a good skill to learn, and it's kind of fun. So dig in. It's vmix.com. They have a 60-day trial. I think we were doing a 90 during the earlier part of the month when the real lockdowns were really on. But 60 days is great to play with. It's full version. And then the other neat thing is if you buy the $60 version and you want to upgrade later, and it's $350, they'll only charge you $290 for the difference. So and I did it, multiple times when I was upgrading. I started with just the 60-day trial, and then I just did the basic HD, and then I outgrew the inputs, and I needed more. And now that was 2.5 years ago, and they let me upgrade. I paid a $60 fee, and I got a year of upgrades to the new version, which has a million more features, including this other one I wanted to show you, which is called Vmix Call. I haven't tested this through Smart, but here's the video call, and it gives you this URL that you can just send to your other person calling, or here's the password. You can send them the Vmix call and have them type in the password, and you can set all what you want to send to them, how much bit rate you want to send, and then where the audio is coming from. Super awesome. And then once you add that in, it just shows up like any other input, another video source. Here it is in the preview because there's no one connected. And then you can put this into a virtual set as well. So let's set that up real quick. We'll go virtual set and find one of these like boxes where you're talking to your guest. And I'll hit OK. And let's set that shot up. Here it is. We'll have setup. On the left will be me. On the right will be my caller. There it is. Bam. And there it is. And we can go to our camera. I don't think it really moves around much, but here it is in the preview window. And you can see if I was talking to my guest, I might be facing this direction. Oh, blah, blah, blah. We're talking. Or we're talking directly into a camera just like we're on some kind of TV news program. And then you can change this background to be something more in line with whatever you're trying to broadcast. Or it can be a logo. It can be anything. You can just really dig in here and make it to what the client might want. And you look like a rock star, and because not too many people are doing this live stream thing, at least at the level I'm doing. So I think it's a viable little skill to have as a little side business. All right, that's pretty much everything I had to show about Vmix. So let me set up my outro. I will click the black one in the preview here, the black color bars, and I'll hit my stinger and say thanks.